Welcome to Is It Fast, where today we are chatting with a certain Bradley Gravett. And yeah, you have got quite the interesting story to tell, but an even more interesting season to come. So Bradley, welcome to Is It Fast. How are you?
Oh, very well, thanks, Stu. Yeah, thanks for having me on. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm slowly getting a suntan in my studio, so I can't really.
Same here with these big lights. Same thing here.
It's all about the lighting. You see,
It's all about the lighting.
It covers and sorts out a multitude of sins. So
Really does.
So all good. So rumor will have it that you're back in a seat for 2021. Tell us a little bit about where we can find you.
Yeah, I am. So, bit of history, quickly, just touch on it later, I'm sure. I raced in 2020 in the Mini Challenge Cooper class. So the Mini Challenge is split into, three, mainly two, but there is a third class. So you've got Mini Challenge Cooper class, Cooper Trophy, JCW, and then JCW Trophy. So I did the Cooper Trophy, which is kind of the middle, the slower minis. And that supports touring cars, partly in 2020 and will do again in 2021. In 2021, however, I'm looking at stepping up into the JCW class, which was the class that has replaced for anyone who knows touring cars, is the class that replaced the Clio Cup, which was gradually getting less and less and less over the years. So the JCWs have replaced that, and it's become one of the main support packages for the touring car. So we are looking at doing that, budget dependent, of course, and COVID doesn't help those things, but that's the plan for this year anyway.
Awesome. So you've got quite an interesting year ahead potentially. You've had a taste in at least a mini of some description.
Yes.
So I guess it's quite hard to talk about the season ahead because, as people will know, there's been a small but fairly decent delay because of the thing that we try not to talk about. But yeah, the C word, yeah, which obviously is impacting us in various different ways at the moment. Yes. But first of all, you're looking to make that step up, as you say. How are you feeling about that, and what do you think? How do you feel it's prepared you?
So the Mini Cooper class, which I drove in 2020, is basically a standard road car. It's basically a standard. I think they're homologated from 2002 to 2007. I can't remember. I'm not a mini specialist. I can't remember the R number or whatever it is. I should know, but I don't. It's basically a standard road car. The JCW race car it starts off as a mini, but then they take it, strip it apart, they put proper suspension in it, they do everything with it to turn it into a thoroughbred race. It's got all the cambers on it, it's all adjustable. And I've driven one. I drove one at the back end of 2019, and they are an absolute animal, and they're not the same. They may look the same, but they are not the same in any way. It's very, very tricky car to get used to. And you've probably heard it before, but a lot of people say, I mean, you've got to really work the car to get it going. If you want to get any temperature in the tyres, if you want to get it going onto pace, you've got to drive it hard, because if you don't drive it hard, it's not going to warm up. And if it doesn't warm up, you can't be on the pace. So I think this year has helped me, because I have had to learn that to a degree in this car, because you still have to get everything to where it needs to be. But I think we need to do a bit of testing. But I think, there's no reason why I shouldn't be quick in that car. It is just a car. It's just four wheels, an engine and steering wheel. That's how I view it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. You touch on testing there.
Yes.
And rightly or wrongly, I've got a weird obsession with testing.
Yes.
I don't know why, but honestly, it's so weird.
We're worked out by the end of this. I don't know why either.
Yeah. This is no longer a conversation or an interview. It's a therapy session. Be like, Bradley, tell me, why am I obsessed with testing and not the racing? It's not even qualifying. It's weird kind of setup. But I think I actually know the answer. I think from a testing is vital. It's part of the preparation. If you go in cold in every sense, there's less chance of you being competitive from the word go. So in terms of testing, when do you think you're going to be able to get into a car and really start to feel your way through what will be the rest of your year?
So my advantage when it comes to testing is Dad, because of his experience. If anyone doesn't know, my dad's Rob Gravett, ex-British touring car champion. He's very, very good at setting up cars. So he can jump in a car and he knows straight away, right, needs a bit of this there, needs a bit of that there, a bit of that there. And he's the only one to have ever taught me to drive. So actually, me and him I just copy what he does. So why not, So
proven formula.
Exactly. If he sets it up for him, it will work for me. So in that degree, I can cut corners, but we still need to be out testing. I need to be in the car. I need to get used to it. I need to get used to the sound, the smell, the seating position, all that stuff that you don't think about. For anyone who doesn't know, I mean, in a race car, you sit in a very aggressive position. You're very low. You can't the doors are up here, you can't see much. You need to acclimatize yourself to that as well. So it's not, you know, that, I mean, you get over that pretty easily, but there's a lot to actually do before you get out in the car. Is the very long answer to your question, Stu.
No, it's fine. But you haven't really helped my condition, because I'm now even more obsessed with testing. So that's nice and strange. You mentioned your old man there.
Yes.
Ever so briefly. So although your face is relatively new to the scene, although there is a resemblance there, I imagine.
You look like brothers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he would appreciate you saying that.
Massive compliment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, one had a tougher paper round. But yeah, obviously the name is established, but your face is new. But it'd be interesting, you know, how have you found yourself doing something quite similar? Because there's a million different paths. I
started racing when I was 13 years of age in karting. I got straight in the deep end, 6 races as a novice, straight into Super One. Super One, if you don't know, is the premier. Some people argue in Europe the premier championship to be doing. It certainly is in the UK. You know, lots of Formula One. Alex Albon's been in there. Oliver Rowland has been in there. They've all been through Super One. And it's tough, you know, wearing the colours, the helmet colours, you know, and the name on the side of the crash app. It's tough because there's an expectation that you're going to be quick. That's what people expect, but obviously there's no reason why I would be off the bat. I need time, like we were just talking about testing. You know, I need time. So it goes one of two ways. Yes, it does open doors, but there is an expectation and a pressure that I need to be, and I do need to be fast. There's also the other side of it that people don't see is because of the helmet, people, you know, they think, oh, I want to let's have a go at Gravett. You know, let's have it. You know, I get beaten up quite a lot, so I've had to get quite broad shoulders, and that's not everybody, but that has happened in the past. We think so. You know, there are advantages, but I think there's more of a disadvantage than there is advantages. To be fair, although without the name, would I be in a car? Probably not. So it's 6.5 dozen the other, I would say.
Yeah. But that said, I think to even the loosest of observers, you know, you're ploughing your own furrow within the sport. I think it's fair to say, not just because the world of motorsport today is significantly different to whatever 20, 30 years ago. So from that perspective, it is not the same journey. So in terms of your wider support network, you know, you're on your own in the car, but you're not on your own in the team. Can you give us a bit of a steer and a direction as to actually who's helping get you ready, who's helping maybe give you a little bit of the bumps to get you on track?
So I go back to the name. It's opened doors for me. So it's helped me, you know, it's helped partners be interested in supporting me. It's helped investors, you know, it helps because it should get a little bit of attention. So that's quite a valuable asset to have. When it comes to actually the support in the team, I mean, the team are absolutely fantastic. I get my support from anyone who will give it to me. It doesn't matter who you are, I'll take it. I may not listen to it, but I might take the bits out of it that I think, yeah, okay, I'll give that a go, or maybe I won't. So I've only ever been taught by Dad. He's got a very unique driving style, and I drive like him. So I've only ever been taught by Dad. Now, a lot of people would say that what we do is very anti-textbook. We don't drive as a textbook is. So we do things slightly differently, not massively differently. At the end of the day, you're doing the same job as everybody else, but we do things slightly differently. So again, what lots of people tell me don't necessarily suit my driving style, although I might think, actually, I'll take that or I won't. So all my life, I've been around. My dad, Rob, runs a company called Ultimate Car Control, which is an advanced driver training business. And I've been around that since I was 7 or 8 years old. So I've just been around it. So I picked things up through there. And so, yes, he's taught me, but never sat down with me, right, you need to do this. Because I've been doing it over such a long period of time, I've just picked it all up. When it comes to setups and things like that, the team are brilliant. I mean, they know. Dad knows, but the team are fantastic. They say, right, we're going to adjust this, we're going to do that. They go through the footage with me. We sit down, we break every corner down. What can we do different? You know, all the usual stuff that you would expect from a driver. So I think in terms of the support network, yes, fundamentally, I've got to make those decisions and I've got to change what I'm doing to improve. The team want to grow with us. We want to grow with the team, and we all want to get into touring cars. That's where we want to go. So it's beneficial for everybody to be working together. And you know, right now anyway, it's working perfectly. So that's what we're doing as well. Really
and almost like it was scripted, you've segued me into a very poignant question.
Good.
As great as the mini challenge is, and in the 3 different classes, I think it is a good support series. I think it's competitive. Last year,
incredibly competitive.
Yeah, hugely. But touring cars is the destination for Bradley, is it? Is that where you?
I think it has to be. Yeah, I think I've been thinking about this a lot recently. Since I mean, before we went on air, I was talking about coronavirus, and sorry, I mentioned the C word there. I was talking about. I was talking about how I didn't even think I'd be in a car during. I've spent a lot of my adult life, my late teens and early adult life, trying to get into a race car, and I haven't been able to do it yet. I was able to do it in coronavirus. So nothing's impossible clearly in this sport. So yeah, I think the goal is touring cars. I think I mean I'd ideally like to win the touring cars, and I'd ideally like to win it 3 times, one more than Dad won it.
So you managed to touch most of the circuits last year, thankfully.
Pretty much all the big ones.
Yeah. Any that you're particularly looking forward to and think that you'll do particularly well? Anything for anybody here at Is It Fast to look out for?
I quite like Thruxton.
Interesting.
I'm quite yeah. So we had an interesting race at Thruxton, and when I last checked, and I'm pretty sure there's still 2 races on the Thruxton calendar.
Yeah.
From what which I don't think there normally is there? There's normally just the 1 race at Thruxton. It must be.
Yeah.
There's normally just 1, isn't there?
Yeah.
And it was my first time at Thruxton. In fact, it's my first time at any circuit this year, any car circuit. It was my first time. So yeah. When we went to Thruxton, Dad said, it's a difficult circuit. It's extremely fast. You need to have a lot of confidence around the circuit. So I did a little bit of sim work at Thruxton, and I don't get on with sims. I struggle with them. I think it's the feeling through the wheel, and it's, that some of the software is not as good as it could be, perhaps, or it doesn't feel as, as fluid as a real racing car. It certainly helped, but I still needed to go to Thruxton. So Dad got on the phone to an old touring car buddy, Tiff Nadell, and his local circuit is Thruxton. So he said, yeah, no problem, I'll take you around. And Tiff took me around in I think it was an M3 or an M2. And oh my God, it was unbelievable. I've never been with anyone like this.
Yeah, he's a mentalist, yeah.
He was going into the last complex backwards, where there's no runoff and that, backwards, make the corner all lovely. I mean, I'd like to say I could do that, but I just don't think I could. So yeah, I did a bit of stuff with Tiff. I didn't drive. He just took me around and said where I want to be, where I want to brake, where I need to be looking at. So, I've been pretty, I would say pretty quick. I've been sort of the top, qualifying mostly in the top 10 throughout the season. Went to Thruxton, qualified 4th. Fastest circuit in the UK, qualified 4th on the second row, next to my teammate, which I was over the moon with.
And then I leave because we move away from the racetrack for the very final question that I have. Right. Because we don't spend our whole life on racetracks. It's unfortunate, but that's just the reality of where we are. So road cars, I'm trying to gather a bit of an idea as to what the drivers drive off the grid, and you don't have to tell me what you
probably want to know. Is it fast?
This is always the big question. Is it fast? Right, because that's the thing. So we'll start. What are you in off track at the moment?
An Aventador. No, I'm joking. It's not really.
For a split second, I was like,
yeah, this guy. What? Who's this guy?
Boy drives a tractor. What's going on?
Yeah. So I'm 27. So I've had 2 cars in my 10 years. I've always been put off by the cost of insurance. Yeah. And it doesn't help when you tell them you're a racing driver for a living. It really doesn't. So when I passed my test 10 years ago, actually, in fact, 10 years ago, about now, I was given a Smart 4. Well, I had a Smart 4.4, which is basically a Mitsubishi Colt. It was a 1.1, and I drove the life off it. You were pretty much good. Didn't matter what you did, you were right. You just obviously obeyed all the rules, etc.
Obviously.
And it was a 1.1, but you could just drive the life out of that car, and it would just, it was a great car. So 3 years ago,
basically a Brabus. That's what I tell people.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, Ultimate Car Control, my dad's business, he owns. That's what we use. We use Brabuses, Smart 4 Brabuses, and they're cracking cars. 1.5 turbo. 6 seconds to 60
in a sandal. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. So about 2.5 years ago, I've gone and bought a BMW 130i.
Okay.
In sport. So 3 litre, straight 6, manual, rear wheel drive, short wheelbase.
Yeah.
What more could you want?
Yeah.
All dodgy tyres at the back.
Yeah, that never goes away. Trust me.
So yeah, I've got a 130i 1 Series.
That is actually a very solid choice. Not that you need or should be seeking my approval, but
you probably know more than I do about it all.
I've had a fair share of cars. Yeah, it's no, that's good sort of choice. It is. Is it fast? It must be fast, right?
Yeah, it is. It is quick. It's 3 litre, 270 odd horsepower. Whether it's still got 270 horsepower, I don't
I'm
know,
sure
but
it
that's what
does.
it's rated to. I've looked after it, so I hope it does. Sounds gorgeous. It is about 6 seconds to 60, but it's when you go to 70.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
So
yeah,
60 to 70, it just keeps pulling.
yeah.
And then when you're not on the road, 70 to 150,
Away
you
you
know.
go. If it wasn't the 1 Series, what
I
budget
mean,
is no issue. What we
oh,
go
budget. So I've obviously got the 1 Series. There's a middle ground on that. So if the budget is an issue, there's a car, and if the budget isn't an issue, there's another car.
Go on then. Give us both of
So
them. Why not?
I would go. So if budget's an issue, and we're talking, sub 80, sub £100,000,
Yeah.
I would probably go with an M2 competition car. Probably.
Good shout. Yeah.
I think I like this. I like the size of it. I like the angles. If it wasn't that, it'd be an M4.
Also another good shout. Yeah.
So the old man's got an M5, and it's all been done up. It's got something ridiculous like 750 horsepower.
Yeah.
It's almost undrivable. There's
Yeah.
too much power, but the sound that those cars make, it pops and bangs. I mean, it pops and bangs, and
Oh yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. Money, no object. GT3 RS.
Okay. I mean, you're definitely a racing driver.
Oh yeah, 100%, through and through. We're talking uncomfortable rides, unpredictable driving.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what it's like.
Yeah. Yeah. Although cracking motor, it's.
I'm interested. What would yours be?
Well, obviously, I'm independently wealthy, so I have everything that I ever needed. But money, no object. Interesting question. I am also quite a Porsche fan.
Yeah, good.
The GT3 RS probably not great on my back, but I do like the GT3 Touring because it's essentially the same, but doesn't look as aggy. And I probably could drive it to the shops.
That's the thing. That's the only thing that money no object, of course, that would put me off. I was talking to a chap that owned one, and he said the very thing. He said, "Oh, the roll cage in the back and the wheel suspension is too stiff." It's like, I'll take it off your hands if
Yeah. It depends, isn't it? You couldn't daily. Well, you could because people do. You daily the GT3 RS. Absolutely, you could because that's essentially what Porsches are about. But if it wasn't that, it'd be probably something like a Vantage. Well, actually, no, Vanquish. No, I would go for a DBS Superleggera if money was no object. Actually,
that is a lovely car. That's a gorgeous car. I'm in a WhatsApp group with someone who's I think they test drove one, and they put a load of videos of it up.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's lots of reasons not to get one. The interior.
The first one is the big one, obviously the depreciation value on it.
Oh well, yeah, there is that. Well, yeah, exactly. Never buy these things. Well, no, that's not true. If you want one, go get one. If you can afford one, fine. But there are now ways, thankfully, that you can have a minimal outlay and still win yourself a prize car, something that's a little bit special, a little bit different.
Absolutely, and you've probably seen you probably see. I know you guys follow me on social media, on Instagram or Facebook. By the way, my Instagram is at Bradley Gravett. Facebook at Bradley Gravett Racing. If you did want to follow me, little plug there. But no, I've just partnered up with a new giveaway company actually called Pole Position Prizes. And what Pole Position do is they basically raffle things off. So they've been doing a lot of watches, a lot of Tag Heuers. They've got a Tudor on at the moment. But they're a new business, and they've actually partnered up with me for one of these reasons. And they're now raffling off my dad's personal Subaru WRX. It's an absolute spaceship. I mean, it's unbelievable. I don't know what power it's got. I think they've tested it, but the torque on it must have a turbo about this big. It's unbelievable. But what they're actually doing now is they're actually raffling that off. So you could actually win, or somebody could actually win a Rob Gravett ex-BTCC champion's own personal car. Very exciting. Really exciting.
We're talking about Aston Martins. We're talking about Porsche GT3 RSs.
You know what? I think the Subaru. I mean, I've driven it. It's an absolute spaceship. Off the line, I think it. 0 to whatever speed, I think it would outdo lots of those cars.
Yeah.
Certainly my road car.
Yeah.
Probably the BMW. It's four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
A rocket ship.
Every single part of that is
I know
designed
you got to
mend your
spool
face.
up. What's that? Sorry.
Every single part of it's designed to bend your face, isn't it?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, you cannot get the car into oversteer. It's so well balanced, you just can't do it. You just won't do it. So yeah, that's what I've been working on now. So it's very exciting. It's my newest partner for 2021 pole position prizes. Like I say, they're wrapping off Dad's own personal car. So go and get yourself some tickets.
There you go, guys. You heard it there first. Get yourself a ticket. Win yourself an ex-touring car champions personal Subaru weapon. Well, Bradley, thank you very, very much for joining us here on Is It Fast? And if anybody watching is interested in finding out more of how they can support you on your journey in 2021, or just be involved in any way, shape or form, then feel free to get a hold of Bradley direct. Or if you really feel the need, give us a shout. We do have his telephone number and we will hand it out liberally on the internet, which I hear is a very, very safe thing to do. But Bradley, genuinely, thank you very, very much for coming on Is It Fast? You're a joy to talk to, and best of luck in the season ahead.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure being here. So thank you. Thanks everyone for watching, getting this far.
Yes, congratulations. Thank you very much. Best of luck, mate.
Thank you very much. Take care. Cheers.